Hey, what's up, guys? Tukey here, back again with another episode of A Nation United, a Finland edition, of course, with the Espoo Eagles. And the Eagles are back in the playoffs yet again. Today, we begin our quest to make it back to the Stanley Cup Final for the third consecutive year after losing, of course, to Anaheim and Calgary over the past two finals. And our journey begins in this episode as we take on the Florida Panthers in the first round for the second year in a row. Now, of course, the team changed throughout the season. We started with a pretty weak bottom six that ultimately evolved to what you see now, where, of course, Joakim Lumala was a free agent signing at the beginning of the year. He joined Bjorkqvist and Pirnez on a pretty successful third line, considering, again, that I made the mistake of not readjusting the settings, so we didn't see many high-scoring offenses this past year. And the fourth line as well, of course, we brought back Otto Koivula. He didn't play much, but he will be in the lineup due to the, we'll say, the ineffectiveness of Antti Suomela. And, of course, the fourth line now, Rasmus Kupari and Teemu Vikola. So there's talent that can be moved around in both the top six and the bottom six. If someone is underperforming, we have that ability to be creative with these lines. And, of course, defensively, it'll be very interesting to see what happens now that the higher scoring is projected to, now that the higher scoring will have an effect. It's just, based off of the regular season and where you'd project someone like Olli Juolevi to be in terms of point scoring, a lot of these guys didn't necessarily live up to the hype, but they have that excuse. But heading into the playoffs, whether or not that top four is enough, I don't know. And interestingly enough, that third pairing was phenomenal, at least in terms of plus-minus. A plus 31 with 25 points for Pasi Tirvainen and Ville Heinola, with only 8 points, but a plus 24 on the season. So will the changes in production alter how effective they were? A lot of questions heading into the series. And then, of course, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, now 29 years old. We know what he is. Still arguably the top goaltender in the league. But we'll see what happens. Top goaltender in the league who has yet to win a cup with us. He did win one, of course, with Buffalo. So let's take a look. Again, I expect this team to be very similar to what we took on last year, and that looks to be the case, and that is an ungodly, well-rounded offense with two elite players on that top line. So let's get this started. Eero Niemi, who is, of course, a Finn and getting paid very, very well by the Florida Panthers, had 69 points in 82 games, 33 goals, which again is phenomenal given the lower scoring. Sasha Barkov, of course, another player who we have yet to have in this series, 71 points. Yeah, that top line wasn't really affected at all by the lowered league scoring. And Jonathan Huberdeau, at 34 years old, also put up 63 points. That top line is incredibly dangerous. Second line, Andre Bobrovsky, the former 8th overall pick in that extra 2018 draft. Not exactly getting paid like an 84 overall. Centered by Aleksi Heponiemi, again, another player who we could have had at one point. Actually, didn't we have Heponiemi at one point? I think I'm confusing him with somebody else, but Heponiemi is there, and Owen Tippett as well, the rebuilding Hockey Town legend. Third line, Boris Kachuk, 85 overall. Not too bad. Ty Dellandrea, also not too bad. And Georges Vijay, Vijay. The good old Vijay. 10th overall pick in 2023 for the Florida man, 84 overall. Not going to care too much about the stats from the regular season outside of that top line, just because of what happened. Tyler Benson starts us off on the fourth line, centered by Nicholas Madden, 2nd round pick in 2023, and Andrei Petrov, a 5th round pick in 2021. Again, in terms of overalls, that is a tremendously well-rounded team, but the defense could be their Achilles heel. It's not awful, especially that top pairing, but it's not amazing, and we have a better defense on paper. Cody Tutu, 89 overall, 10th overall pick in 2020, next to the now 32-year-old Aaron Ekblad. Second pairing is Michael Matheson, and Jalen Correa, first-round pick, 18th overall in 2023. And the third pairing, Nikita Zaitsev alongside Rasmus Andersson. The goaltender is Jukka Laakso. And we talked about that a lot last year. We traded him to get the goalie who was better at the time, and now Laakso's caught up. How big of a mistake is that going to prove to be? He's had 2 very strong seasons after a rocky rookie year. Are we better than this team? Yeah. Are we going to win this series? Don't know. It's just how the playoffs work. For all the hate we gave this game about it being unrealistic, you know, after the whole Tampa Bay Lightning fiasco this year, who's to say? Any given team can win a playoff series. Let's see what happens. Game 1 against the Panthers. Our journey back to the Cup begins now. First period here, and that is not a great start, considering Alex Barkov scored from center ice. Peltonen scores the opening goal, but again, Barkov and Boris Tkachuk get the goals back 2-1 for Florida. Second period, that's a little bit better. Hey, you score a center ice goal, we'll score a center ice goal. Goals from Brad Lambert and Joakim Lumala. It is 3-2 through 40 minutes of play. Not often you see 2 center ice goals in the same game. You will, of course, often see center ice goals in the sim, though. We go to the third, up by 1. It is anybody's game at this point. Power play chance for the Panthers, ultimately successful. Nikita Zaitsev scores. For some reason, this picture looks weird from that angle. He almost looks like demonic, like his left eye is just bugging out of his head. A wasted power play chance for the Panthers. 6 minutes left. And Brad Lambert scores again. Is that enough? Will there be a late? Yep, I had a feeling. That's why you don't get too excited with a goal for under 5 minutes left. We're going to overtime. The second Lambert scored. I'm like, okay, don't freak out. Something might happen. 2 minutes and 20 seconds later, Sasha Barkov scores his second of the game. We go to overtime. 4 goals apiece. Oh, not exactly the defensive and goaltending display you might expect with the teams that we have. Let's see what happens. As far as who wins it, I don't know. I don't dare guess. Olli Juolevi. Overtime. Who's it going to be? Game 1 goes to... Drum roll, please. Oh, no, God, please. Not like this. Power play chance for us. Please, yes, like this. Okay, we're not. Both teams waste a power play chance. We are halfway through. Are we destined for double overtime in Game 1? It looks like it's the case, but it's not. Samu Louis gets the winner. 3:38 left. For some reason, there's different times between the timestamp and the time on the scoreboard, but don't worry about it. Samu Louis gets the winner, and we take Game 1 convincingly, clearly. 5-4 final in overtime. Samu Louis gets the winner. That is exactly what I expected from this series to start things off. A 5-4 overtime win. The third line delivered. Lambert with 2 goals, the hat trick of assists for Tommy Ludman, and the 2 points, including the game winner, from Samu Louis. So the second line carried us to success there. We move on. Again, not exactly the series that, the way to start this series that you would have predicted. But with the higher scoring back in play, I suppose anything is possible. We go to Game 2. And I almost outright simmed the game. That would have sucked. First period, and the Panthers again walk away with the lead after 20. Bobrovsky. Despite the fact that we outscored them 17-8, Panthers do have the lead. Pretty disappointing. Second period is scoreless. 30 shots to 19, but still just 1 goal between the two teams. Higher scoring? What higher scoring? We go to the third, in danger of potentially being shut out. It's about time for our top line to step up, don't you think? Please? For the love of God? Somebody needs to score. Thank you. Mika Pirnez. Ask and you shall receive. Brad Lambert makes it 2 goals in under a minute. Not bad. Well, down to 2 minutes, really. Math is hard. 3:10 left. Is that it? Is it just a quick sweep of momentum to win it? It is. Brad Lambert gets the winner. Mika Pirnez, of course, tied it. 41 shots to 30, 2-1 final. And despite the fact that, it's weird that both goals, both games were 1-goal games. But, like, I feel like calling them close games wasn't really justified. Like, I don't know. They were close, obviously, because they were both 1 goal. I don't know, man. This is a weird start to this series. It's tough to say, like, man, they felt closer than 1-goal deficits, I guess is what I'm saying. Laakso was the first star. Luukkonen bounces back, only giving up a 1 on 30 attempts. And, of course, Lambert, the GWG, that second line delivering thus far. Lambert with 3 goals now in 2 games. And we defend home ice successfully, outscoring them, only 7-5. That's not a big deal, right? The goal scoring is indeed back. We head to Florida, BB&T Center. I think Panthers fans would like to think, well, hopefully my team exists in 9 years, but hopefully we're not in that building. But we go to Game 3, a chance to take a commanding lead in this series. Can we take advantage of the opportunity? First period, and we walk away with the lead, which has been a death sentence for teams thus far. But Vikola with his first playoff goal for us under 2 minutes in, and we're up 1-0. Second period, okay then. I guess we're okay. Tiervainen, Lydman, and Rantanen. It is 4-0 as we go to the third period. Absolutely ridiculous. Tiervainen, Lydman, and Rantanen. The top line finally showed up. Lydman, of course, with a goal. Rantanen as well. Well, Lydman's on the second line, I should say. They've continued to show up, is what I meant. And now the first line finally shows up with Rantanen. Tiervainen makes it 4. We go to the third period. I'm not going to quick sim this because you never know. Power play chance for the Panthers dies out fairly quickly. Capo makes it 5. The second line, or the top line, strikes again. It's 5-0 now, 5-1, thanks to Tyler Benson ruining the shutout. But we will have a chance. Lambert scores again. Good Lord. 6-1. Do we have one more goal in store? That is the question. Late power play does not deliver. 6-1 is your final in Game 3. We are 1 win away from dispatching of the Florida Panthers. Lambert, Luukkonen, Lydman leading the way. Unbelievable start in this series. 2 close games and then a blowout in Game 3. Again, we are just 1 win away, as we are one of a few teams to have a 3-0 lead, including the Columbus Blue Jackets, who we would be preparing to play in the next round. They're up 3-0 on the Islanders, and of course on the Atlantic side of the bracket, it's Philly up 2-1 on Ottawa. Tampa's up on Buffalo. We're going to keep going. Can we close out this series? Can we sweep away the Panthers here in the first round? Let's find out. First period, and the advantage goes to Florida. Vijay and Niemi, 10 shots to 9. They're up 2-0. A little bit concerning as we have to battle back into this one. Can we do so in the second period? Not really. Boris Tkachuk made it 3-0. Samu Louis gets one back, but we're down by 2 heading into the third period here. And the Panthers doing everything they can to stay alive and force Game 5 back in Finland. We go to the third. Is there a comeback here to crush the hearts and souls of the Panthers? Or are the Florida Panthers gonna make something of this series? At the very least, they are less than 8 minutes away from forcing Game 5. And they will be doing just that. A very disappointing performance from the Espoo Eagles. Outshot 42-29. Only 1 goal on the board. Florida avoids the sweep off the back of Laakso's strong performance. Dellandrea with a 2-assist night. And this series is not over, as our first opportunity to close things out. I mean, it was a totally uninspired performance. We sucked that game. And now we have to play an extra game over Columbus, who completed the sweep. One of really, there were 4 teams that had a chance to complete the sweep. 50% success rate on that front, as Anaheim swept Edmonton. By the way, Calgary, last year's Cup winners, didn't even make the playoffs. That's not heartbreaking at all that we lost to a team that didn't even make the playoffs the next year. Oh my God. We go to Game 5. No real cause for concern or panic, and especially panic switches as far as the lineup is concerned just yet. But if we lose this one, we might have to think about it. First period and a 1-0 lead. Mikko Rantanen strikes. We had the advantage in shots and the advantage on the scoreboard as well, which is always nice. Second period, hey, we double up the lead. Samu Louis, 22 shots to 18, 2-0 on the board. Let's do this. Third period, 20 minutes away, although Nikita Zaitsev and the Panthers power play has something to say about that. As we trade power play chances, Rantanen strikes. It is 3-1. And another power play chance here early. Simon Tyval makes it 4. The Eagles' power play has arrived. Simon Tyval just scored a power play goal from the wrong side of the blue line to ice this series. 4-1 is your final. Not only here in Game 5, but, for the final of the series. 4-1 win in Game 5. 4-1 series win. The Eagles move on. We rebound from an uninspired performance to shut things down. 2 goals and a 3-point night for Mikko Rantanen. Luukkonen with a 27-save effort. And Simon Tyval up there as well. The second line started off dominating the series, and by the end of it, the first line catches up. We are moving on to play Columbus in the second round. Capo Caco, 4 points in 5 games. Not too shabby. Only 2 points for Simon Tyval. Now, again, he was one of the ones who actually still put up a decent amount of points. 57 assists, 69 points. Very nice, given the lower scoring. We've seen that from him before, though. Starting off slow in a playoff situation, or just in the playoffs in general, that's not exactly uncommon territory for him. We've seen it before. But Mikko Rantanen, 5 points, 3 goals, beautifully done. The second line, though, was outrageous. 8 points for Tommy Ludman. Despite the fact that he's set up as a sniper, for good reason with that shot power, he has been a much better playmaker this year. It doesn't make sense, and it almost makes me think maybe, again, if things weren't going well for him, if he was struggling, I'd probably change him to a playmaker, although you have to wonder just how much that would affect him in a negative fashion. Maybe it would make him even better. Samu Louis, 6 points in 5 games, 3 goals, again, set up as a playmaker. He's almost performing better as a sniper right now, even though, again, he'd also be an effective two-way. And then Brad Lambert, 8 points in 5 games, also set up as a playmaker, could be an effective sniper despite low accuracies. Very, very weird how this has gone, but a dominant effort from the second line. Third line, only 1 point for Kasper Bjorkqvist and a -1. We've talked about how effective he was 2 years ago in the playoffs. Last year, meh, and now off to a slow start again this year. Mika Pirnez, though, the overtime winner, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or it was just a goal in general. It wasn't the overtime winner, never mind. But he had 3 points and was a -1, and Lamala 2 points as well. The fourth line, pretty quiet, but a point for Koivula, 2 assists for Rasmus Kupari, and Vikola with a goal. So not bad. The fourth line, at least not a detriment to the team, like they happen to be at certain points in the regular season. Defensively, Tuomas Hikola, no points, but a +1, averaged 26.5 minutes over the course of those 5 games. Gigantic minutes from the 27-year-old. You'll love to see it. And then Olli Juolevi, 3 assists and a +1, averaged 27.5 minutes. That is unreal. Tommy Tiervainen, a +6 with 1 assist, averaged nearly 18 minutes of play. Peltonen with 2 points, a +4, or a +7 with 4 penalty minutes, and averaged over, or just about 21.5 minutes per game. And in that third pairing, still solid. No complaints whatsoever from any of our defenders, or really from anybody on this team. And in goaltending-wise, Luukkonen, if you can keep putting up those kind of numbers, we are laughing all the way to our third straight final. A .941 with a 191 GAA, elite Conn Smythe level numbers. Relatively disrespectful, but easy does it for the Eagles in the first round, as you would hope. Let's get that confirmation. We already know who it's going to be. Just the question is, what does the rest of the bracket look like? It will be us hosting Columbus for Game 1, but let's look at the rest of the East primarily, as Buffalo beats Tampa in 6 and Philly beats Ottawa in 6. That is outrageous. Again, remember back to the regular season, and who dominated, they are both out. As insane as that is, we are the best team from the regular season remaining. Ottawa and Tampa both fall in the first round. Unreal. And again, if you look at this team, I mean, it really was the haves and the have-nots in terms of points. So, no pressure, knowing that we are the top team remaining. Not at all, especially considering Buffalo was such a good team. And then in the West, St. Louis beat Dallas, San Jose beat Winnipeg, Anaheim swept Edmonton, and Vancouver beat Detroit. So it's St. Louis, San Jose, Vancouver, and Anaheim over in the second round of the Western Conference side of the bracket. Guys, that will do it for us here today. First step is completed. We are 25% of the way to our ultimate goal, and a third of the way done with just making it back to the final, if you think about it. One series down, 2 more to go, and then we get our third shot, at least I hope, at winning yet again. But the Blue Jackets are here for a reason. They had to beat a damn good team to make it to this point. Whether or not we're good enough to overcome them, time will tell. I thank you for watching. Drop a like on the video, damn it. Please check out everything in the description if you haven't already done so for everything, including the Twitters, the Twitch, the Discord, the frickin' merch options, the shipping address. There's a lot there. Check it out. I'll see you next time. If you haven't already, by the way, make sure to go check out yesterday's videos, including a Carolina episode and the first episode of the Canadian series that we have started, the Canada-only series on FIFA 19. If you haven't checked that out, feel free to do so. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.